rejection is not the word. Your voice may not fit the project. It may not fit. Obviously, when they're looking to studios spend a massive amount of money to to promote films. So they're going to make sure that whoever actually does that trailer or who does that promo, they're going to make sure that that's the person for the job. So what you actually try to do is develop your own technique so that your technique becomes polished and it becomes attractive, and at some point someone's going to like your technique. So I never looked at it as rejection. I always know exactly what I'm going to feel like kind of in that elevator when I'm headed downstairs away from that audition. I always know I'm going to say to myself, well, I think I had a good shot at that, because you can feel that your voice was the one that might actually now be right for that project. So rejection in that,
it's just if you're set with the right project, that is the way it's going to be.
Absolutely. So a lot of that has to do with the casting, with your agent sending you out on stuff that you're actually really right for. Rejection, like I said, once you begin to establish yourself and your confidence in what you can actually do, you don't really feel like you're being rejected. You feel like you're just waiting for that opportunity where your voice actually fits the job. This is what they need.
That's good. I like that. Now I'm going to ask a question I always ask every single guest, and that is, why you? Now, why did you send all these envelopes and drive down and spend all this time and spend all these many hours before you really got up and running? Why did you persist when so many people give up?
I think a very simple way, kind of the answer to that, John, is success. A lot of people use that kind of analogy. Success is not a place that you get to and sit down. I enjoy the journey. I really enjoy the journey. I kind of tell my daughters that success is not some place you get to and sit down. It's some place that you journey, and that's the success. The success is the journey. So I enjoyed the whole going all the way back to stuffing envelopes and having to sometimes if you think about it. Sometimes when they actually want me to come down and to say, oh yeah, there's an audition and this is the address, blah 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 blah. If you realize it, you actually get in your car or you get on the train, you go all the way down into Manhattan, and most cases, and you literally walk into a booth for 30 seconds. For a minute. The actual audition is 30 seconds or a minute, but that's the success. That's the work. The actual taping, what's the worst that could go wrong when you're actually taping a voiceover? You get a frog in your throat, maybe. What could go wrong? It's so when you ask why me, I basically just say it's because I like the journey. I really enjoy the journey, and
see, that's good, because that is a good example, a good recipe for continued success. I just saw something recently where someone who's a successful artist, successful rock star, and he received this big check, and he was so proud, and he brings it to his mother, who's still like from the old country, And she looks at the check, she places it down, she looks at him and says, so what now? So what are you going to do now? What, are you going to just sit home? It really is true.
Absolutely. That journey, we're kind of remembering the different places, different things that you had to do. That's why me. That's probably the simplest and the easiest way to answer that question. It's because I do really enjoy the journey.
I do say that to people. People have asked me, so many times. But the number one question I get is people say, I want to write a book, and how do you do it? How do you write a book? And, the short answer is always, just start writing. Because as you start writing, you'll start to get more involved and more interested. But a lot of it is, in the way that you put it, is enjoying the journey. It is just, I'm sure you have great memories of going on audition. I mean, my goodness, you met Dr. J. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, also I would tend to think that another part of it would be that we live very close to arguably the greatest city in the world. So heading into the city for an audition is always like the bright lights in the big city. So being a part of the industry, so to speak, hearing your voice in one particular case on a show. Right now, I'm involved in a show that's on Stars, and it's a show that is kind of taken. It's filmed in New York. It's a show that it's a New York show, and I'm actually the voice doing the promo for that show. And people talk about power, It's like, wow, it's a New York show. So I mean, things like that are just how can you beat it?
So you're still starry-eyed. You still haven't gotten. You're not immune to the fun and the excitement of it all.
Well, I tell you, it's hearing sometimes your voice. One of the things one of the actual jobs that I get to do each year is it's around Black History Month, and it's on PBS. And being, PBS was one of the stations my mom actually loved, growing up. Channel 13, you got to watch Channel 13, WNET. So you can imagine, to actually, do previews and stuff like that on PBS. It's a load of fun. It's a load of fun.
That's great. Okay, why don't you let our listeners know where they can find you, and so what your website? Where?
Sure.
Where can people find Garfield-Maitland?
Yeah, I'm represented by Atlas Talent Agency. They're down in the big city. They're on 32nd Street in New York City. Certainly, my website, which actually is my name, that's www.garfield-maitland.com, and that's all one word. And Atlas Talent Agency with representation on both coasts is a very easy way to reach me.
And I'll tell the listeners I've been on your site. You could hang out there for a while and just listen. Okay, Garfield, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I do.
Oh, John, it's my pleasure.
Words. Oh, yeah, it's always great. And for the listeners, you're going to hear a little more of Garfield near the very end. But I do have some closing words I want to share with you people. Garfield has a unique and very positive view about rejection. Let's face it, if you want to be a creative person, you will be rejected. There's no avoiding it. How you deal with it is one of the keys to success. My books have been reviewed, of course. My second book, Grit, has received 8 5-star reviews and 1 1-star review. But it's the 1-star review that I look back at the most. Here it is. It's short, but it's nasty. Terrible read, could not finish, threw book away. Threw it away. Man, that's harsh. Like, who throws away a book? Now, it may seem crazy to you, but when I first read that review, I laughed out loud. And as you can tell, I'm still laughing. Because I know that you can't please everyone. Sometimes what you do will turn people off. Hey, I once heard Frank Sinatra referred to as an overrated hack. And there was recently a long piece written about The Great Gatsby, not the movie, the book, criticizing it. So criticism and rejection are just part of the game. I don't spend much time thinking about it. I'm too busy creating. There's a quote by Teddy Roosevelt that I read just about every morning. It keeps me focused. Here it is. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better, The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place will never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. So please, my listeners, continue to dare greatly. Never join those cold and timid souls, and don't ever give up your daydream. If you would like, you can visit my website, which is johnnuckel.com, JOHNNUCKEL.com, and you can see me at don'tgiveupyourdaydream.webs.com. And for everyone who is already registered, or if you register before the end of the year, send me your address and you'll receive a free gift from me in January of 2016 to start off your year on a positive note. Thank you all, and be well.
This message brought to you by FEMA. Fire is everyone's fight. We all have a role to play in making sure fires don't start. That's why the USFA invites you to join Fire is Everyone's Fight, to protect you and your family from the dangers of fire. A home fire is your most dangerous fire threat. Home fires kill and injure 16,000 Americans annually, and the leading cause of these fires is from cooking. So when you cook, avoid wearing loose clothing. Keep anything that can catch fire away from cooking surfaces. Turn pot handles in, and around cooking areas maintain a 3-foot kid-free zone. Smoke alarms can make the difference between life and death. Install them inside and outside sleeping areas and on all levels of your home. Alarms with long-life batteries are best. Change others every year. Test alarms monthly and replace smoke alarms that are more than 10 years old. Every second counts, so prepare and practice a home fire drill with your family. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
For eligible plans are operand 1716 721818. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Contract by RV reward card requires online registration.